Hi, um, I have a story today. It's about the Barren Fig Tree. I don't know if you're familiar with the story, but I just wanted to reflect on it a little bit today. So, hope you enjoy. The Barren Fig Tree story is a story that is found in Mark 10, verse 12, and then verse 20. So in the after verse 14, the authors skip the story to tell a different story. So we'll talk about it later, and then finish the barren story, the fig tree story, with verse 20. So we'll talk about the skip in between. We'll realize why the author did that, which is a very beautiful revelation. So we'll talk about that today. Um, yes, so the barren fig tree story is Jesus was coming from Bethany and he was hungry. That's what the Bible told us. Like he was hungry. He wanted something to eat. He saw the fig tree and he went there to see if there was anything, and there was nothing for him to eat. So let's see what happened. Verse 12, Mark 10, verse 12. The next day, when they went from Bethany, he was hungry. Seeing in the distance a fig tree with leaves, he went to find out if there was anything on it. When he came to it, he found nothing but leaves, for it was not the season for figs. He said to it, "May no one ever eat fruit from you again." And his disciples heard it. Okay, so he went to find out if there was anything to on it, and he came to it, he found nothing but leaves, but it was not the season for figs. Pay attention, it was not the season for figs. He said to it, may no one ever eat fruit from you again. And when he said that, his disciples heard it. So, what was Jesus trying to demonstrate by this action? What was he trying to leave us with this action? Because if we know Jesus, if we go back to who Jesus is, his stories, we know Jesus fasted 40 days and 40 nights with no food, no water in the desert, and was tempted by the devil to turn a rock into bread. He did not fall for it. He didn't do it. He had self control and rebuked the devil and did not fall for it. Okay? So pay attention. So again, Jesus, he was after he fed the 5,000, like he remember Jesus turned like I think two loaf of bread and five fish, or five bread, two loaf of bread, either one. He turned them and fed 5,000 people, and that's women wasn't counted and children. So it was way more than 5,000 people. So after they left, he was talking to his disciples about the leaven of the Pharisees. And when he was talking to them that way in parable, and they thought he was talking about the leftover bread that they forgot to take with them. And he rebuked them to tell them, like, come on, why would you guys be worrying about bread when I just fed 5,000 people with a miracle of bread? Like we did not have to go buy it. We did not have to get it somewhere else. I multiplied, like he multiplied the bread. So he was confused. He rebuked them. So really, Jesus, this is all to say that Jesus doesn't worry about natural food. So let's see. So why did he curse the fig tree? Was he that hungry? Another example is Jesus with the Samaritan lady. um, the reason Jesus got to speak to the Samaritan lady is because the disciple went to get food. So while they were gone, Jesus started talking to the Samaritan lady. So when they came back, they brought the food that they went to get for him. They gave him the food, and when they gave him the food, and he was like, he's not hungry. He's not hungry, and they were confused. They're like, where? Like, did someone give him food already? Why he's not hungry? Because he told them that, like, just doing the Father's work, he was already feeling full. So to Jesus, he was complete. He was full. He was alive just by doing God's work. Okay, just by preaching the word, sharing the word, healing people. That was his food. That was his satisfaction. So he was no longer hungry. So he didn't need the food. He said he was already full. Just by having that conversation, the type of conversation that he had with the Samaritan lady filled him that he did not need natural food. So what made him curse the fig tree instead of make it become fruitful? Because really, if Jesus was really hungry, he could have just make the fig tree have fig on it. He did not have to curse the fig tree. So there's always a reason. Jesus is very intentional. He doesn't do things for no reason. So something take me back to the story of the talents. The story of the talents is a master was leaving and decided to leave. He had three workers. He decided to leave each of them with it could be money or it could be anything that they can use and to multiply, to use it, make it work and multiply it. So in that story, there was one person who had 5 talents that turned it into 10. There was one of them that had two, turning into four, and the one that only had one did nothing with it. Okay, so when the master came back, he was not pleased with the man who did nothing with the talent that he gave him. He took it from him and gave it to the man who already had 10. So to the person who was willing to work, he took it and gave it to that person. Well, you don't want to work, you're being lazy, I'll take my talent from you and give it to the person who's actually going to work it and make it progress and make it multiply. Okay. So, what I get from that is the tree was supposed to have fruits in it. It was a site of disobedience for it not to do what it was created to do. So, this is why Jesus cursed the tree. Okay. I'm going somewhere. So, as a child of God, are you bearing fruits? It is scary to be spiritually barren. It is a big deal when women are physically barren. Okay, so when a woman, we learn even in the Bible about Anna who couldn't have child, how her she had a mistress, another woman like that. Her husband had another a mistress that was bugging her at all time. So sometimes people get criticized when they can't have when they are barren, when they can have child, when they can have children, and and some people feel bad themselves when they can't have no children. So to be physically barren is also a bad thing. Also, but it is worse to be spiritually barren, right? So in John 15, um, it speak about how when we bear no fruit, the vine dresser cut us out. Okay, so in John 15, it talks about how if we bear no fruit, the vine dresser will come and cut us off. And now seeing how harsh Jesus was with the fig tree, we can realize that the cutting of fruitless people is no joke. Okay, so the Father is not going to have a pity party for the spiritual barren people. So be careful and be watchful. So it's not going to be easy. Like if you're not bearing any fruit, it's not going to be easy for you because as we see the example of the fig tree, Jesus did not care. He did not care. Was that your season? Not your season? Jesus don't care. Are you bearing fruits? Okay, that's all that mattered to him. Were you bearing fruits? Okay, so the other thing that I want to address is miracle can be a distraction. The disciples were all in awe of the miracle of the how the tree just withered and miss out the message that Christ wanted them to see. Like why he like, because if they could just think like the disciples really before Jesus left, after Jesus left, they were all. with it. But before Jesus, they were always like this. They were never there. Their mind was never there. So they missed it. They were just, they were really having, I think they were kind of like still in their carnal mind, that they were not, having kingdom, they were not being kingdom minded. So whenever something happened, they just trying to translate it, you know with a human mind instead of a spiritual mind. So what I believe, the barren fig was a metaphor of what the true condition of Israel was. And I'm gonna show why I believe that's what Jesus wanted to show them. Like, let me repeat that again. So the barren fruit, what Jesus was trying to let them see, like the 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 anger, the anger he had toward that tree. What he was, what he wanted to show them is that is the true condition of Israel. That's what he was trying to show them. With all the people's religious practice, they gave an appearance of godliness, but they had no fruit. They had no authentic fruit. God wants followers of great faith as opposed to the faithless Jewish leaders. They were not people of faith. They had no fruit. They had a form of godliness without power. There's a verse like that. So this is the reason that I said that. Remember, I said that the author tell us the story in verse 12 to 14, and then 15 he tells us about a different story, and then come back to verse 20 to finish the story of the barren fig tree. So this is what happened in verse 15. So I'm gonna start reading from verse 12 so you can see the transition. So the next day, when they went out from Bethany, he was hungry. Seeing in the distance a fig tree with leaves, he went to find out if there was anything on it. When he came to it, he found nothing but leaves, for it was not the season for figs. He said to it, "May no one ever eat fruit from you again." And his disciples heard it. They came to Jerusalem, and he went into the temple and began to throw out those buying and selling. He overturned the tables of the money changers and the chairs of those selling doves, and would not permit anyone to carry goods through the temple. He was teaching them, it is not written that my house will be called a house of prayer for all nations, but you have made it a den of thieves. The chief priest and the scribe heard it and started looking for a way to kill him, for they were afraid of him, because the whole crowd was astonished by his teaching. Whenever evening came, they would go out of the city. Okay, so this is the reason I said the barren fig tree was a metaphor of what he wanted to say about the people of Israel. Like you see that same anger toward, like the same anger toward the fig tree continue when he went to the temple. So right after the fig tree, he went to Jerusalem, went straight to the temple, and he was turning tables and telling them that his house supposed to be a house of prayer, um, for all nations, not a den of thieves. Okay, so I have a few verses. I combine a few verses together that that tie to the whole story. Is John 6:65, and he said, "Therefore I have said to you that no one can come to me unless it has been granted to him by my Father." Okay? So Romans 8:28, all things work together for good to them that love God, to them who are called according to his purpose. Um how I know, right? How these two verses, tied up to what I just spoke about. It is God who chooses us and call us. When we answer the call, we surrender everything in his hands. As the Father now, he as the Father, he is in charge. We need to trust Him in all area of life and confidently say that all things will work for my good because He is a good Father. So we don't have to be afraid. We don't have to be scared to answer the call, or we don't have to be an hypocrite, just like that guy with the one talent who did nothing with it. And if you know the story, he told the master, "I know you are hard and stuff like that, so I had the talent because I didn't want you to get mad at me." Something like that. He had a story. So um, God, God is the one in charge. He is the potter. He is the one who called us. He is the one who chose us. If He called us to it, He will guide us to it. He will provide. He will do what's supposed, like He will do everything that's supposed to happen. So we don't have to be afraid. It is God who chooses us and He called us. So we just have to let Him drive. Let Him drive. Like if He call us, just go for it. Have faith. Don't be faithless. Have faith. He called you to it. He will guide you to it. So He will take you where you're supposed to be. So don't be barren. Don't be barren. Don't be thinking like you don't have what it takes. You don't know how to do it. He said you can. So, all right. That's all. Thank you. Bye bye.